Hello everybody, this is the GoldenLockPicker and I'm back at you here with another lock in the vise today. What I have for you guys today is the Masterlock 911. This particular lock is a green belt level lock on lpubelts.com, and it currently ranks at that same belt level as a Masterlock Lotto Lock or Lockout Tagout Lock, the 410 series. And including that, like a Brady Lotto lock, which is made by Abus, which I featured on this channel before, as well as the Masterlock 6835 series. It's comparable to that. And supposedly it's also comparable to some other locks. I'd probably say, I'm a little surprised they're in the same category, but also not. Like this would be comparable to a Yardini dimple lock or a multi-lock 7x7 or a Garrison, as it's sometimes referred to. Those locks can be a little bit more challenging than this. Obviously, they offer a different skill set that I don't quite yet possess. I'm still working on something like that. So maybe as I move a little bit further forward, I'll find that maybe they are similar, but in my opinion, I think these are definitely a little different. But this lock has something a little bit different to offer in terms of why it's challenging. So this lock currently has a 5-pin core inside of it. So let's go ahead and take a look at that key. And you'll see that it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cuts in the key. And it utilizes a Masterlock 6000B key here. So this is similar to what you'd find for the Masterlock 6835s. And both the old style and the new. So this is, if you have locks already that are from that older generation, you want to key them the same, you can actually rekey this lock. It is a guttable lock. So we'll go ahead and open it up. And one thing I want to point out there is you did hear that correct. As I turned it over, there's no pop. No pop to the shackle. You actually have to manually pull that shackle. And that's something you'll notice as we go through this here today. And the reason for that is because the shroud that's on this lock actually holds that shackle pretty firmly. So that's part of the reason you're going to have some challenges with this. It'll be one, you're going to have to keep this lock turned over after you pick it and then manually pull the shackle. But down the shackle hole there, you can see there is a nut, and it is a hex head key. I believe it's a 7 64 hex key. So that's what you'll need for that to disassemble it. And once you pull that out, you'll find it has that standard Masterlock core that you'd find with any of these that are 6000B key. I believe sometimes in some of the older literature for like the 6835 series, they refer to it as the W6000 core, whatever that is to you. What it has is a 6-pin core that's only been pinned for 5 pins. And pin number 5, it's going to have a serrated pin, and then in the rest of the pin slots in 4, 3, 2, and 1, it's going to have spools. So what makes this thing challenging then is this thing only has 5 pins to it. Well, the part that's challenging is, ironically enough, actually this housing. The weatherproof housing that's on here causes you to not be able to so easily put a turner in there. Now, obviously the turner, top of the keyway turner, fits here, but one of the things that sometimes you won't pick up or catch when people pick through this on video is look at the angle that that turner is sitting at. Now, this is a dead core, so once you lift that gatekeeper pin, is what I'm going to refer to it as, which is the serrated pin, this will fall over into a deep falset or into a falset, and then it'll just, as you keep picking each spool, it will keep falling over and so on and so forth. But once you get past those, you'll see that the core is actually sprung, but it only really kicks in once you try to move it over. And as you're moving this bar all the way over, what will happen is that spring will fight against this. And if this thing comes out because you hit the lip of this right here, and the angle of it causes you to lose your tension, it will send this turner flying out of the lock, and the lock will spin back and lock itself. And that is a really frustrating experience if you're a newer picker. So when we pick through this today, when we get to that point, what I'm actually going to do is keep a backup here, and I'm actually going to insert this bottom of the keyway to help us in that turning process. So I also use this as I start out just to set that serrated pin, because for me, I feel like it does a better job of keeping a real light tension on that lock during that phase. So let's go ahead and get this thing spun up. Enough of me yapping in this video. Hopefully it gave you guys some good info. The other thing too is this is a laminated construction lock underneath of all this weather housing. It's identical to the 100-year anniversary lock, and it also is identical to some of the Pro series that you're going to see for this, except for it just has the 5 pins. So let's get to picking here. I've got a Jimmy Long's 50 thousandths bottom of the keyway, top of the keyway turner right there I'm going to start with. And then I'll switch over to this top of the keyway turner in 40 thousandths. I will be using the short flat hook in 23 thousandths from the starter set. No fancy picks needed here. I mean, obviously this is a wonderful pick, but you don't need anything too thin for this lock. It's not very paracentric. And I'll just show that keyway to you there. It's pretty wide open. So let's get in there. Let's get the picking. Okay, so I'm going to set the turner in there, and I'm actually going to just go straight to the back on this thing. Very first thing, and just note the position of the lock, like the degree that it's at there. Okay. Let me just go through, check each one of those. All right, and you'll notice we flipped over a little bit into a false set. So we are actually at the point now where we can take our top of the keyway turner, and this is just how I do it. You don't have to do it this way. That's just how I feel comfortable with it. And then I'm going to pull this bottom of the keyway turner out. And now we're spool hunting. Getting some counter rotation here. Okay, we've got a little bit of a click, and we're back over. And I feel like that was potentially on 4. Yeah. Ooh, there was 3. Counter rotation on 2. Oh, we are over. I'm going to put my bottom of the keyway turner in. And now this is what I was talking about. You could lose that. So this is why I try to keep this other tensioner in there. Okay. We technically basically have the lock open at this point. We just don't want to lose our open. Okay. Got it over. There we go. And now that we've got it pinched in there like that, we're going to go back here, pull the shackle, and there we go. And just like that, we got this thing open. So that is the Masterlock 911. Let's go ahead and let's get to gutting this thing, because I'm sure you guys want to actually see the pins on this thing. And I don't blame you. Let's do it. So I'm going to go ahead and set that Jimmy Long's pick up there and my turners. I'm going to grab my pinning tray from 44 Delta, my pinning tweezers from Sparrows, and I'll grab a cylinder holder from 44 Delta and a follower from 44 Delta. And just a little T-handled 7/64 hex key. So let's go ahead and we'll try and see if we can locate that nut there. There we go. Okay. Okay, and looks like you got that. All right, and I'll go ahead and pull that out. There we go. Let's set that off here to the side. Put the plate right there. And let's see here. Go ahead and pull the core out, and it looks like it is still spun over there. So let's go ahead and see what we can get figured out here. So we need to get a Sparrows clip remover, and we want to be very careful there. Let's probably actually turn this back over, lock it up, then put the key in, just so we don't have any problems with it. There we go. And I'm going to go ahead and turn that. There we go. Pull that off. Turn that back. And make sure we got our follower ready. Now, one thing I would suggest on this is, because it does have that, if you have the followers, it can actually mate up to this. They have that notch, go for it. But if not, if you're like me and you just have something like this, take the key, turn it over partially, and make sure that the lip here is still covering the Bible. Otherwise, if you don't, you could start dropping pins in this open area. If you're worried about that, if you don't feel very comfortable in your ability to do that, go ahead and use a shim. It's a little thin metal sheet they'll insert between here and that housing, and that'll keep the pins in place. So I'm going to go ahead and push my follower through. There we go. All right, so we got that. And let's go ahead and we'll pull the key out here and set that down. I'm going to start dumping the pins. One. And it looks like two fell over in a 3 slot there, so we're going to move that guy back over. All right, 3, 4, and 5. And then we'll go ahead and just stick the cylinder right there. I'll let you guys take a look out of there. It is drilled for 6. No special counter milling or anything, nothing too exotic. It's Masterlock. So we'll go ahead and set that down, and I'll go ahead and try to orient these so they're towards the front. There we go. All right. Now, and I could use the cylinder holder for this, but I decided to jump ahead and put those in there. So let me grab my pinning tweezers, and we'll start from pin number 1 here. Okay. Okay, pin number 1 is a spool. Pin number 2 is a spool. Pin number 3 is a spool. And don't worry, guys, I will give you a close-up of these pins at the end here, and I'll make sure to put that in the timestamps if you feel like jumping ahead. Pin number 4 is a spool, and here's our last pin, pin number 5, and there we go. Now, in terms of the springs, I don't see anything different there. They all appear similar. I'm not seeing anything too unique there. But just to be on the safe side, since I know that some of you guys are interested in that. Okay, there's 1 and 2. Okay, and I'm going to grab, oops, there's 3 and 4 is right here, and it looks like our last one, 5, is right there. And it does not appear there is anything different with these. These are all identical. So a little bit different than what I saw on lpubelts.com. Some of those have shown that there's a copper spring in them. I definitely don't have that in my 911, and this is one that I actually had ordered from Masterlock, I believe from a distributor. So maybe there's a difference there. But you can see in terms of the pinning, what we have here is, drop these springs down. Okay, so we have a spool on 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then we have a serrated pin, and I would say it's very lightly serrated. These are not very deep serrations. I'll give you guys a little bit of a close-up on that. Hopefully you can see that a little better. The serrations are pretty light. Nothing with the key pins, and in terms of the Bible, it is drilled for 6, but nothing special there. It doesn't look like there's any special milling or anything. So I hope you guys enjoyed this from the Masterlock 911. If you look inside here, you can see it is a laminated core construction. At least one nice thing here, they do have this built-in structure to make sure that the core and the Bible lean to the correct direction, so you can't ever screw that up, you know, for reassembly. So that's kind of nice. But yeah, that's the Masterlock 911. That's a green belt level lock on lpubelts.com. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, go ahead and drop me a like, and hopefully if you're enjoying the content, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. You guys tell me, what do you think of the Masterlock 911? If you've ever picked through it before, feel free to leave a comment down below. Otherwise, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.